Hey, cowboy.
Little fucking faggot.
So, I know this video is late.
It's late. Bitch, it's late. It is late.
I know Higurashi has been done for a while now, but I've been like busy. Like, hello. This video would have been up sooner if I wasn't. But besides that, today the time has finally come, y'all. Higurashi's over, so I'm free to like express my mind and finally say the things I wanted to say. Oh my god. But I feel like I'm gonna get dislikes for these because I'm just gonna tear into this shit real quick. I'm gonna be honest, y'all. I didn't like this iteration, and it's not because I'm a fan of the OG, because that OG shit was crunchy. Like, it was good storytelling, like really, really good storytelling, but god, did I ever laugh more at an art style in my life. Like, that shit was mad crunchy. I know I can't draw any better, but Jesus Christ. But besides that, Higurashi Go was fine. Like, I actually liked Higurashi Go because there was that mystery to it. Like, it was basically the old series, but different things were happening, and you were trying to find out what's causing the catalyst of all this. Like, is it a reboot? Is it a retelling? Or is it its own, like, continuity? And when we got to the twist, it was like, oh, shit. But then I was like, oh, shit, it's her. And don't worry, we're gonna tear into Satoko real soon. But I liked Go.
Slay!
I absolutely did not like Sotsu at all. Like, Jesus Christ, Sotsu, for me, my opinion, y'all, was so terrible. Like, I genuinely felt soulless watching it the entire time because I personally hate retellings. And when the retelling is told through a perspective of someone I don't, I'll save my piece for later. But yeah, Sotsu was god-awful. And the ending was fine. I actually thought the ending was okay. Like, it was a good ending for an anime, but it was not a good ending for Higurashi, if that makes sense. Like, Higurashi should have had a more catalytic or, like, catastrophic ending. Not that, but, like, we'll get to it. Like, let's talk about the tiers, because we actually are doing a tier list, in case you didn't notice. So the first tier is some good fucking food. These are the characters that, like, served me throughout both seasons or series, or that, like, just served an entire season on their own, which, like, one of these picks is gonna be extremely controversial and someone's, like, gonna scream at me in the comments, but it was the saving grace. And underneath that, we have pretty iconic. It's characters that basically... Oh, hold on. I actually forgot to preface this. This is gonna be a Higurashi tier list on, like, all the series as a whole and how I feel about each character. So it's not necessarily like a Go and Sotsu tier list only. I actually did one of those, and I might, like, plaster it towards the end because I don't want to, like, spoil some picks because some actually stayed in the same order. But yeah, I did a Go Sotsu specific tier list, but this one's gonna be, like, for all the series combined, my opinions on the characters throughout each of them. So yeah, like I was saying, pretty iconic tier is characters that they're good. Like, I find them alright, but they're just so iconic that I can't put them any lower. Like, they are what make Higurashi Higurashi. And then below that is, what was even the point? Like, these are characters that, like, either in Go and Sotsu did absolutely nothing and they were useless. In the old series, they did nothing and they were useless. Or both, they just were completely useless, or just, like, completely irrelevant to the big picture at the end. And then underneath that is Nar, which I'm just gonna, like, instantly throw people I'm just not gonna talk about because they are non-characters. And then underneath that is Chair. Chair. That's a very interesting tier, yes. Okay, so those are all the tiers. I'm sorry I'm, like, swallowing so much. It's because I'm, like, drinking water right now. Like, it is hot. Like, I am so sorry. It is hot and I am parched. And if I derail a little bit, it's because I have my laptop next to me, and no, I'm not playing Fire Emblem. For those who like know me, and I've been like gaming every single Fire Emblem game. I finished Sacred Stones. Sorry, I'm derailing, but like I finished Sacred Stones, and I'm starting Path of Radiance, and that's like the game that all the people on my Discord like hype up as like the it. So I have high hopes. Like, I see the promise because I'm really into the cast so far, aside from like Shion. But let's begin, shall we? Because the Higurashi fans are probably gonna be like, what the fuck is this fag talking about? But here we go. So starting off the list, okay, how can I not put this person in good fucking food? It's Furude Rika. Rika is just incredible. Like, there's not much I can say. I know some people are gonna be like wondering what's my stance on the whole like Rika and Satoko thing. Like, oh, who do I think is in the right and who do I think is in the wrong? You'll see. You'll see by the end who I think is in the right and who I think is in the wrong. But besides that, Rika is probably my favorite protagonist in any anime ever, or like any media ever from Japanese origin, because holy shit. I know ReZero, like, if I had to rank my favorite series ever, it'd probably be ReZero, but my favorite protagonist ever is Rika, because Rika just has it all. Like, she's very tragic. You really feel everything she goes through, especially in Sotsu. Well, was it Go or was it Sotsu? It was one of them where, like, especially that scene where, like, Rika tries to find the sword that Hanyu left inside the Oyashiro-sama thing. But when she didn't find it, she started laughing, and then that laugh turned into a cry. Like, you really felt Rika's struggle and utter despair. And yeah, like, Rika is just fantastic. Like, I want the absolute best for her, and I don't know if this is just me, or if this happens to other people. I feel an extreme sense of protection for Rika. Like, I want the absolute best for her, and whenever I see something bad happen to her, I always have to either look away, or I just get absolutely in a foul mood because I just don't want to see anything bad happen to her. Like, I just feel that attached to her, that I want only the best for her, because she's been through a lot. Like, for how long has she fucking died? For like 1,000 years or something? Like, she's old. If her body actually matured with every loop, she'd be old and crunchy and bony as fuck. But yeah, that's my piece on Rika. Like, Rika is just a fantastic protagonist. And for those who haven't watched Higurashi, watch the shit. Watch that shit now. If y'all, like, need a link to, like, pirate the show, I'd be more than willing to send it, because y'all need to watch this. And, yeah, that's my stance on Rika. I would say more. Actually, I feel like a lot of what I would have said, I already said in the Umineko tier list, and I was talking about, like, Furudo Erika and Burkastel, the dog thing, cat thing. But yeah, moving on. Okay, yeah, actually, just so y'all know, this is Ayane Von Riegan from the future, because I sat on this video for a while, and you know what ended up happening while I sat on it for a while? This video came out by this person, and they literally just say word for word, point by point, my whole thoughts on it, which is funny. So I wasn't sure if I even wanted to upload this video or not, but I'm gonna do it anyways, because like I'm gonna share my opinions, and I'm gonna be very passionate about some of these folks. So if you guys still want to listen to that, you can continue. Just know that I did alter a few things from the original tier list, because my opinions have changed. My opinions have evolved, so I'm just gonna continue, and I hope you guys continue listening. Okay. Okay, so next person I'm gonna put on the tier list is, I actually debated on this one because I've heard opinions about this character, and they are very mixed, but I personally found this character very entertaining in Go and Sotsu, and that was actually Feathering. I'm not gonna call her by her ugly ass name in Sotsu. I'm just gonna call her how it is. It's Feathering. So I actually really enjoyed Feathering in this series. I didn't like what she did with Satoko. Like, that just started probably the downfall of Higurashi for me, because my god, I don't even think Feathering was expecting that disaster to happen when she gave Satoko the looping powers. But I will say she was definitely the more compelling or appealing villains between her and Satoko, she was definitely the more compelling and interesting one. Because while Satoko was out here doing the most, Featherine was just like sitting on her couch, living lavish, and laughing her ass off at everything that was happening. And yeah, I do agree with like the video I mentioned earlier. She is basically a walking Sekonia and Umineko reference. Like, that's mainly what she's there for. But yeah, like, she was more compelling than Satoko and Takano for me. So I just can't help it. Like, she was definitely like the second star right next to Rika for me in Sotsu. So now moving on. Third person I'm gonna put on the list, it may be controversial, like it may start a discussion, but I feel like this has to be said. I'm gonna put right next to Featherine and Rika, I'm gonna put actually Teppei. And yes, I know what he did in the original anime. Yes, I watched it, guys. You don't have to remind me what he did in the anime. I watched the damn anime. Like, stop typing. I know you're typing in the comments telling me what he did in the previous anime. I knew. But you can't sit here and lie to my face, because if someone says this isn't true, their opinion is just invalid and it just can't be accepted. But you can't tell me that he didn't make Sotsu watchable. Like, I'm gonna be straight up. Teppei was like the saving grace for me during Sotsu, because as much as I love Rika was, since she took a backseat in Sotsu and we focused more on Satoko, she was basically a non-character until like the very end, where her ass got clapped a lot. And yeah, Teppei since we were on Satoko's perspective, we saw a lot of Teppei, and Teppei was like what made the show watchable for me. Like, he was so endearing. I definitely liked this nice side of Teppei. I mean, obviously, how couldn't I? And I genuinely felt bad for his demise in Satoko's arc, because that was a disaster. That's the common trend with the series. It's a disaster. But yeah, like, Teppei really carried Sotsu in my opinion. Like, I would say he's the character from this anime adaptation that got the most favorable edit. And last person I'm gonna put on here is someone who just didn't exist in Go and Sotsu, but like is very iconic in the original series, and like y'all can't deny that. Your opinion is invalid. It's Shion. I'm so tempted to put her in the pretty iconic tier, but I just can't. Like, Shion is my favorite character, and putting her anything below the top tier would be a disservice. So yeah, like, Shion is definitely like one of my second favorite, because now Rika basically overtook that spot thanks to Shion having 0 screen time in the new adaptation. But yeah, like, Shion in the original anime was fucking awesome. Like, I know some people are gonna say that she was horrendous in her arc, and yeah, she was horrendous, and I fucking love it. Like, that crazy side to her, they tried to replicate it with Mion this season. It didn't work, but yeah, like, she was definitely one of the best villains. She is still definitely one of the best villains Higurashi has ever seen. And I just find her very endearing. Like, her personality I fuck with. Like, I always love an One-san type, like a big sister type. But I don't love the fan servicey ones. I just love the ones that are like very chill and have that ara voice. Like, that Shion's voice acting is amazing. I love her so much. And honestly, yeah, I'm just gonna leave that at that, and I'm gonna move down to the tier below, because there's really not much good food. There's not much good food in Sotsu, I'm sorry. And yeah, we're gonna move on to pretty iconic, which is characters, like I explained before. Characters that are just very iconic, and you really can't tell me that they can go anywhere below this. So we're gonna start off this limbo tier basically with Rena.
Hola hijos de puta, soy Rena Ryudu, otra puta del anime y manga japonés, y voy a causar el caos en San Andrés.
Here's my thing with Rena. She isn't explored a lot in the story, and either one really. Like, her arc in the original Higurashi, the one with the aliens, and Rika having a serum, Rika having crazy blank eyes, Rena aliens, Rena rooftop, that was bad. I honestly didn't like that arc at all. It was confusing as all hell. And then here in Go and Sotsu, I will say Rena's arc was probably for me the most interesting one out of Sotsu. Like the Onikakushi, except she's the evil one arc. Like that was probably the most interesting one because like we saw a lot of Rena in it, because even in Mion's arc, the next one, we barely saw Mion until like the mid to late point because we were so focused on Satoko being evil. And yeah, so with Rena, what happens is we see a lot of her like spiraling, and it's like genuinely cool to see someone experiencing level 5 Hinamizawa syndrome, because like every single time we see it in the original anime, they just like scratch their neck and go to hell. But in this one, all they do is go to hell. Well, they kill people and then they go to hell. But seeing Rena like slowly spiraling, I will say though, I felt bad for Rena. Like Rena did not deserve that. I know she's a cunty and we know what she does in the original timeline, but she didn't do it here. So like she didn't really do anything warranting her death. But like rest in power, Rena. You tried. You did your best. And yeah, that's all I have to say. So now I'm moving on to next person, Mion. Oh, I really didn't like what they did with Mion this season at all. Like I felt it was very, very cheap for them basically reusing Shion's mental spiral with Mion. Like that was so bad and really uninteresting, really uninspired too. Like I feel like Mion would have definitely had in another life, definitely had a very different reaction to having Hinamizawa syndrome, but I guess we're just like side tangent. But really, like for me, am I the only one that found it lazy? Like, the whole thing was lazy, but am I the only one that found it lazy that both Shion and Mion did the exact same ladder scene when they both had level 5 Hinamizawa syndrome? Like, how the fuck does that even happen? I know they're twins, but that shouldn't happen. Not even in a different reality. Should they both do the exact same thing when they have similar circumstances? Like, no ma'am. No ma'am. And Mion, yeah, like, Mion's a very iconic character. Like, I love her in the original series, and I did like her in Go, it's just Sotsu was a no. Like, her forcefully shoving Rika down a toilet still haunts me in my nightmares, even after, like, 3 weeks now after Higurashi's over. Yes, still traumatized. Next person I'm gonna talk about is, Little Queen Takano. Yeah, she's just here because she's iconic, in my opinion. Like, I know that video, like, the Higurashi retrospective video. They mentioned that Takano is a less interesting villain than Satoko. Oh, who are you fooling? No. Like, that's, like, the one thing I disagree with them, that Takano is less interesting than Satoko. No ma'am. So back to what I was saying about Takano, she's just very iconic. Like, I love her as a villain in the original, even if she did get very repetitive. Like, I knew we were gonna see Rika looping a bunch of times, but seeing Takano win so many times was just annoying. But yeah, Takano was iconic as fuck. She has some of the most iconic moments for me in Higurashi. Like, she has her iconic Nipa moment, and she has the amazing cauliflower or broccoli question, which, oh my god, sweet joy. In retrospect, that scene made me so happy. Like, I know I'm gonna sound bad, like, being so happy that Satoko basically got outplayed, both mentally, physically, and in the afterlife, but it is what it is. And that's actually everyone in the pretty iconic tier, because, yeah, Sotsu was not a good story. So now we're moving on to what was even the point, which are basically characters that I feel like barely served any purpose or just didn't serve any purpose to this overall story. And I just already was neutral towards them in the original anime, so this is like me going from neutral to bad. And the last one was me going from amazing to good. So yeah, we're just like going down, y'all. We're just going into a spiral. And first person I'm gonna put on this tier is gonna be Hanyu. Oh my god. There's so much to say about Hanyu. Well, is there? There's actually not a lot to say about Hanyu this season, because that's the problem with her. She doesn't do shit this season. Like, I've never been more mad at someone being useless in my life. Like, God, Hanyu was so useless this season. Like, all she really did was just say that her power is running out and that she can't do anything and pray for miracles because we're in Umineko now. But no, like, even at the very end when she did get her power and beat Featherine, I just didn't give a fuck, because honestly I was rooting for Featherine because I was so over Hanyu and her constant whining. And yeah, Hanyu was useless. All she really did was tell Rika to go find a sword, but couldn't give her the insight of the fact that Satoko took the damn sword and Rika had a breakdown, which I will admit was an amazing scene. I felt so bad for Rika, and that shit was well directed. Next person. Okay, next person I'm gonna talk about is Oishi. Oishi was fine. He really just showed up to be like, Domo, Maebara-san. Domo. And then, like, scratch his neck, shoot people, then get shot. And yeah, that's all he really did, actually. He only really showed up for Satoko's arc to be prevalent. And then he got level 5 and did probably the most savage thing to Rika I've ever seen. Like, it was worse than the Watanagashi gutting, in my opinion. Like, that shit was terrible. And yeah, Oishi, you didn't do much. Next person. And I'm going to talk about Keiichi now, because I'm going to rant about two things. One is subjective, the other one's like a fact that no one can disagree with me, because my opinion is the only right one. So, the subjective part. His design in the series is awful. I hate it. I personally hate the way Keiichi looks in this season. Like, I hate the hair. I hate how tiny he looks. Like, he looks so much better in Kai, in my opinion. His haircut was cool. He looked so much more taller, and he looked muscular for the most part. Like, in that arc where everyone basically got shot by Takano, he looked so good, in my opinion. Like, he really had a good render in comparison to Rena's pencil neck, Mion and Shion's horrible face animations, Satoko's big-ass head, and Rika's terrible bangs. He was probably the best looking out of all of them. And yeah. Next person I'm gonna put, I think her name is Chie-sensei, because she definitely, along with Teppei, carried Arc 3, the Satoko arc, in my opinion. Like, she was very interesting. I have always liked Chie-sensei, and I'm glad whenever she gets screen time. I'm surprised in that, like, it's Rika 5 loops montage. We never saw Chie-sensei get Hinamizawa syndrome. Like, that would have been cool. But yeah, like, she did a thing, and yeah, that's all she did. She did a thing. Next person I'm gonna put is, wait, I think I forgot his name. I think it's Akasaka. Yeah, it's Akasaka. Akasaka was very good in the original season. He had a role in the story. Can't say that about this one. But when he showed up in Go and wait, was it Go or was it Sotsu? It was one of them. But I was genuinely excited when he showed up, because I was like, oh shit, the story's gonna progress. No, like, if that was the most sudden, abrupt, and horrifying cut I've ever seen in Higurashi and in anime ever. Like, we really just went from seeing a shot of Rika smiling while Akasaka was like, you'll be okay, girl. And we cut to her, like, bleeding out on the floor with probably the ugliest face I've ever seen right next to her. Like, oh my god. I don't know if it was intentional or not, but Akasaka looked fucking hideous while having Hinamizawa syndrome. Like, I swear that wasn't intentional, and they just fucked up the face really bad. Because I couldn't feel scared at all, because his face was so ugly. It was kind of hilarious. And yeah, that's all I really have to say about Akasaka. He really took an L this season. Someone else who took an L, although not as hard, is our dear darling Okonogi, the Umineko gyal, the bilingual icon. So Okonogi, I don't even think he existed this season. Like, this photo comes from Go and Sotsu, but I genuinely can't remember when when he was even in the anime. Like, I genuinely don't remember when he ever showed up. But Okonogi was there, I guess, and it's just fucking Okonogi. Like, there's no way you can't put him there. He's iconic. For all the wrong reasons. Like, I just love hearing Takano scream his name in the original series. Like, that was so euphoric. I just loved hearing her yell, Okonogi! And yeah, that happens. The next five. The next 5 people I'm gonna put on this list are really all interchangeable, and I don't even think I want to talk about them, in all honesty. Like, I'm just gonna list them. It's Satoshi, Rena, I forgot his name, Dr. Irie, and I forgot his name also. So, with Satoshi, he's fine. I did like in the original series when we saw him go level 5 and his whole like when his treatment got started, and I'm actually kind of happy he woke up at the end, because that like marks a new beginning. Hopefully Satoko having her nini means she stops doing stupid shit. But yeah, like Satoshi is less of a character, more of a concept. The concept of Satoko's separation, like fear of separation, and Shion's yandere arc. But yeah, like Satoshi, he's fine. Next person's Rena. You poor soul. Like, you were trying to get the Teppei redemption, but Rena just couldn't allow you because the script was bad. So yeah, you were basically forced into like a 15-minute redemption, and then you died. And I will say, I did like the redemption she got. It was very interesting. Like, I genuinely thought for a second that Rena would have accepted Rena and they would have become close. But no, drugs. Hinamizawa, level 5, Satoko being bad. Moving on. Next person, I completely forgot his name, so I don't even want to elaborate on him. He didn't exist this season. I think he showed up in Onikakushi to do what he always does, which is give exposition. And then he showed up later with Takano to be like, hey, look, Takano's redeemed. Please like her. And yeah, like, I don't have anything to say about him. Same thing with Irie. Oh, excuse me. Same thing with Irie. Actually, he did not play a major role at all in this season, which is ironic considering his ties with Satoko. Here's my thing. Side tangent, but here's my thing. Both Shion and Irie, who are so close to Satoko, did not have anything to do in this season. Like, you could have sworn that they would have been the factors in helping Satoko realize her wrongdoings. But no, they just don't exist in the story, which is a real shame. And the next person I'm going to talk about, I wish I could put him higher, but I can't remember his name. Like, he was generally a badass in the original season. Like, I absolutely love him and how he helped us out in, like, the final, I think it was the final arc, or it was the one with the broccoli and cauliflowers. It was one of them. But he was generally a great help, and I love his dynamic with Shion. Like, they're my favorite pair in the series. And with that, I'm done with what was even the point, and oh my god. So we have one more character to talk about, and it's the who's going in the chair tier. Oh my god. So it's no surprise, it's Satoko. How do I even start this? So, Satoko. I don't care what anyone says. Your opinion's wrong. She's not a good villain at all. She sucks so bad. Oh my god, I'm getting like mad thinking about it. Jesus. So here's my thing. I'm gonna break it down. Satoko's motive is bad. Like, I'm gonna start dragging her. Her motive is bad. The way she does things is bad. How cocky she got towards the end was bad. Literally, her not apologizing. She basically didn't own up to anything was bad. And the fact that Rika took her manipulative, gaslighting ass back in the end, it was so stupid. I know someone's gonna say, oh, you're not Rika. You don't know how she would feel. Bitch, yeah, I wouldn't feel this dumb. Like, Jesus, like, if someone killed me and my friends basically 100 times because I think they said that Satoko has been looping for a while. So if I found out that true, and hell, Rika remembers herself being gutted by Satoko. If I remember that shit, bitch, I'm not taking you back. Go away. Okay, now I'm actually gonna start dragging Satoko as of step by step, piece by piece. Her motive. Her motive is ass. I don't care what people say about her separation anxiety, her not fitting in. Rika hit it right on the money. Like, when they were fighting in the ground while it was raining, like, when they were traveling different realities, that scene was so stupid, too. But Rika hit it on the nail on the head. You failed classes because you couldn't get yourself to study, and you couldn't socialize with any other girls because you didn't make an effort to. So basically, I'm basically forced to believe that this is all really Satoko's fault. Like, bitch, here's my thing. If you didn't want to go to the school, you should have never applied for it in the first place. Yes, you were going to be away from Rika, but what does that matter? You have your other friends in Hinamizawa, and Rika could just come visit. Let Rika achieve her own dreams without you tying her down, you stupid bitch.
Drag her!
Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse my French. But yeah, like, I hate how codependent she is on Rika, and I know someone's gonna be like, oh my god, but that's Satoko's mental health struggle. Like, she has separation anxiety, bitch, I don't care. She has other friends, like I just said. Oh my god, but Rika's her closest one. Yeah, she can still get visited. Like, all your points are just wrong. Like, this story did not need to happen the way it did. I'm not saying that Satoko didn't deserve to be a villain, because honestly, out of everybody, she was probably the most mentally unstable one, so she made the most sense as a villain. But I just hate the way they went about it. Like, her randomly meeting Feathering, her getting the looping powers, and her plan basically being kill Rika until she succumbs to me. Which is so fucked up and so bad. Like, at that point, she's not even your friend anymore. She's just your toy. So I can't really defend anything Satoko does, because she's just treating Rika like a pawn and not like her close friend. And then, I'm just gonna say this. The Hinamizawa thing was stupid. Like, the Hinamizawa syndrome thing was stupid. And I'm just gonna lay this out thick. Satoko spent all these years, all these fragments looping, killing her friends, killing herself, and then, like, making sure Rika's dead before looping. You know what she could have done? During all this time? She could have used her power to read a fucking book, then shoot herself, travel to a fragment, keep reading the book until she basically learns the entire thing, and pass the fucking exams. Like, that's my thing. She has infinite lives, and she spends it on killing people instead of actually, like, studying so she can actually, like, achieve Rika's dream with her. Oh my god, here come the comments. Oh my god, but she didn't think about that. She wanted a quicker method because she hates studying. I'm gonna drag your ass so hard if you defend her by saying she hates studying is a valid point. That was probably the weakest argument she had, and I'm so embarrassed that she actually dared bring it up in the rooftop scene. Like, she made it sound so epic too. Like, Rika was like, I want to go to St. Lucia with you, while shining her weapon, and then Satoko followed that up with, but I hate studying. Stupid ass, dirty ass, bullied ass bitch. I hate headaches. Satoko just is... I was already neutral towards her in the original series. Like, I generally had zero opinion on Satoko in the original series. Like, in my opinion, she was just there to be a funny girl, like, do pranks. And then when her arc came, she barely had any screen time, and all we know is she was abused. So all I really have to go off her character is she's funny and she's abused. Okay, like, she's definitely the least interesting of the club members. And then when she gets villain powers, my opinion goes from neutral to utter disdain, because her methods of doing shit is just disgusting. Like, I'm genuinely disgusted by her, and I can't stand everything she did. And the fact that Rika really did just take her ass back in the end for what I guess is friends are friends no matter what. Bitch, shut up. The video got it right. The other video got it right that this really just promotes toxic relationships. Like, it's funny that Satoko, well, it's not funny, but it's ironic that Satoko was abused for so long, and what she's basically doing right now is abusing Rika the same way she got abused. Like, that's a sad reality. That things like that happen in real life, and they can transfer to the victims. But damn, like, this just makes me despise Satoko. Like, if Higurashi gets future adaptations, I'm not looking forward to seeing Satoko on my screen. Like, I generally can't stand her. She, for me, like, I know people have multiple complaints about Sotsu, but for me, Satoko was, like, the key factor in my non-enjoyment of Sotsu. Like, she was the reason I was struggling to watch the show. Like, after the Mion arc, I really just wanted to drop it because I felt like every episode was gonna be shit I already knew, just from the perspective of someone I hated. So was it worth it? No. I watched it. Was it worth it? No, not at all. And yeah, I'm just gonna leave it there because I could talk about her for hours. I could drag her ass for hours. That would be a fun video. Like, let me know if you want a video of me dragging and roasting Satoko's ass into oblivion, because she really deserves it. I'm so glad the chair was brought back. Oh my god, this is why she's in chair tier, because her ass got rocked by that chair. Like, blood sprayed out everywhere. It was perfect. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I guess, like, it's over. Yeah, so my thoughts on Sotsu: not good at all. My thoughts on Go: it was okay. So yeah, that's really all I have to say. Like, a bunch of characters were brought down, but Rika can never be brought down. Rika is incredible and will always be. So yeah, that's that. Like, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Like, this really took a while for me to, like, find my motivation again to continue this, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye.